Hello and welcome back to Scale JDM Reviews. And today on the bench you can see that we have the Nissan Skyline R33 GTST. Now this particular kit holds a special place in my heart because I've actually owned 3 of these cars myself. Now the first 2 cars I had were black spec ones and the third was a white spec 2. Now they only make the spec 1 edition in 1/24 scale. The spec 2 was never tooled up. However, both cars are virtually identical, just the front end is slightly different and there are some minor changes to the engine. All in all 3 cars were amazing to drive, a lot of fun to own and use, and I had a lot of fun in them. However, we're not here to babble on about my past cars, so let's get on with the review, shall we? And shall we see what's inside the box? Let's open her up. And voila. Now as you can see that this kit is actually sealed, it's never been opened before. The kit is about 20 years old. I think it was moulded circa around 2000, although I will have to double check that. I'd like to say that this is a rare kit on the basis that it is the S package version, which comes with a few extra bits over the standard Skyline GTST kit that you can get nowadays. And also don't forget that Aoshima have just re-released this tooling as well. Although saying that, the differences between the S package and the standard Skyline GTST kit, there are differences. It is only a couple of sprues. However, those differences, when the cars are built and put side by side, they are noticeable. You can see that they are 2 different versions. So without further ado, let's dig in, shall we? So the first one we come to is the windows, the glass sprue. And I'm going to open this up quickly so you can get in there and see what it's all about. And there we go. So we've got the front lights, the original bumper indicators, of course those iconic rear lights, the circles at the back, and the inner headlights there, and also the back lights and the reverse lights on that light bar just there, with the window showing all the faded areas where you would need to black it out with some black paint, just to give you that rubber edging on the window for slightly more realism. Next sprue. Open this up. So the first sprue, there we go. So we have the interior. It's a separated interior, so you've got the door cards that are separate. This means they're a lot easier to paint in this way, so you can make them as detailed as you want. Some flocking on the carpet would look great with these. The interiors were mainly a dark grey colour. Especially on my cars. We've got the handbrake with the gator, rear view mirror, and the steering column. But yeah, going from memory, the detail on that is quite nice. Let's just go to the next part of the interior. So here we go. We've got the seats here. These are the standard GTST seats that come with the kit. Now my first R33 had GTR seats in it, and it wasn't until I had my second GTST that I realised those weren't the standard seats at the time. So you've also got the dashboard here. So you've also got the window screen wipers for the front, and also a single blade for the back window, because being a coupe, this car did have a rear screen wiper. You have the steering wheel, the what looks like an automatic transmission gator there, brake and accelerator, and the automatic gear shift, and what looks to be the stereo console, which would obviously fit into that bit just there. Now in this kit I don't think we're going to need these seats or the steering wheel, and to be honest, if I had a choice I wouldn't make it as an automatic either. Okay, moving on to the next sprue. We have the brakes and the suspension and the rear spoiler, and that is going to be a lower lip spoiler at the front there for the front bumper. A lot of people would replace the standard rear spoiler on these for a GTR one just to give it an extra sporty look. These brakes, however, I'm looking at those, the way that this is going to be put together, and if I'm not mistaken, the wheels are male fitment, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest, because there are a lot more female fitment wheels out there, things like Tamiya and such, where you have the little polycap that goes inside the wheel, and then you have a little sprue axle that comes out of the hole and put it on and job done. Whereas in these, the polycap goes inside that and is sealed off by one of these hubs, and then the axle from the back of the wheel go straight in. I have done a hub conversion on one of the chassis that I've built for this previously, which I will show you in a few moments. It is better, in my opinion, to reverse it to a male to female fitment instead of a female to male. But that's just my preference. It is a little bit of work, but it is a bit of fun. So what I've got here is a work in progress chassis for another GTST. It's actually another S package. I had two of them. I'm in the process of putting this one together. It's only tacked together in the basis that it is not a final build in any way, shape, or form. It needs painting, etc. Anyway, I digress. So what you can see here is I've actually done a female to male hub swap on both the front and the back, and I did this using these little spindles here, which came out of a Aoshima Kiwami kit. And what that allows me to do is use wheels like this, which again also came off a particular Kiwami kit. I think it was the Majesta, the K-Brake Majesta, and they have a female attachment, so those can then go straight on like that and completely freewheeling. As you can see, it just gives more options to the wheels that you can use on this kit, and I think variety is the spice of life at the end of the day. Not to say that there aren't any bad wheels, or there aren't any bad wheels for the other fitment, which is the male fitment, which is the original wheels. As you can see there, these will not fit this kit anymore, of course. I just think there's more choice with the female fitment. Saying that, I have these Nismo GTLM 2s. These are hobby design, if I'm not mistaken, and they also come with a male fitment. So technically you could build this car straight out of the box, shove these wheels on it, and you've got yourself a period correct car. However, these are great wheels, but I think I'm going to save those for a special build sometime later. And again, like this particular chassis here, this one, once built, will be made with the male hubs on them. Of course, I will do a how-to video on how to do a hub swap on one of these kits. It is quite simple. There are many ways of doing it. I'm going to show you my way. It's very easy, very simple. You just need a few spare parts. So you've got a kit bash, another kit, preferably one with male hubs on it, and I can show you everything you need to do to get that working first time. Okay, now we're going to move on to the S package sprue. As you can see, the seats on this are a lot more sporty. We've also got the backing for those seats. I'm not too sure why they just didn't do this as a one-piece mould, but you know, more bits to put together. Yay! We have the aerial for the rear windows. These would go on either side, and these attachments would come off at a slight angle, because a lot of Japanese cars have TVs in them, so you can get like terrestrial channels out there. And you've also got the two different types of steering wheels just here. Obviously, which one you choose, even if you decide to keep with the original GTST one, is completely up to you, but it's nice to have the option. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the decals here. As you can see, these are aging and not very well either. It looks like that one's had some spilt on it at some point in the past, because it's a little bit shiny just there, that middle seat one. So these are the seat covers. We've got the SSR GPO wheels number plate, and also the standard number plates that come with the car. As you can see, these are yellowing, and they have yellowed quite a bit, so I probably won't ever use these. But you can see what the kit came with, GTST or GTS25T, which was the car's name. You've got the Skyline symbol, Recara's sponsorship, and SSR centre cap for the original wheels, the side indicators for the front wing, and a few Nissan badges, and of course your third brake light bar. Okay, coming up is the very small chrome sprue. Now on here we have the aerial mount, which on these cars is electric, so that would be on the back wing on the passenger side, and it would go up and down whenever you turn the stereo on and off. We've got the rear view mirrors and also the twin exhaust tips. Right, so here we go. The first sprue we have is the fuel tank, the wing mirrors, and the Nissan original back box. And onto the chassis. Here we go. We saw this a few moments ago on the other chassis that I half built. It does look nicely detailed. The engine is a little bit blasé, to be honest, but it's got everything you need. Obviously, you can cut that out and put an RB26 in from either the Tamiya R32s or even Hobby Design or 81, who all do an RB26 kit. Plus other manufacturers, of course, will do it as well. It is nicely detailed though. It's very easy to lower, very easy to do a hub conversion on these. And you know, I've seen many drift versions of the GTST Skyline. That's given me some ideas actually. Up next is the body kit. So this is classed as a Type M body kit. From my knowledge, there was never actually a Type M 33 Skyline. The Type M and the Type S referred to the R32. And apparently all 33s were Type M's anyway. So what we've got here is the original bumper. Down here, this gets added on to the very front of the kit, which we'll see in a very few moments. We have the rear spats, the side skirts, which always make a difference, and this little spoiler here, which goes on to, I'm guessing that goes underneath the rear spoiler. I will double check that out though. We'll find out in a few moments. Standard kind of Japanese returns card, I think. So give it that. Next up, we've got the chassis sprue. We also have some more brakes. I'm guessing we're not using these ones, and we're going to use the other ones on the white sprue that we saw at the beginning of the video. We have the rear diff, drive shaft, prop shafts, suspension. Obviously, we've got the anti-roll bars here, parts of the front suspension, and we've got the rear there. Oh, this is part of the rear suspension, sorry, and the bottom half of the rear suspension, plus the front suspension subframe setup and the anti-roll bar for the front. We also have another fuel tank. I'm pretty sure that's identical to the one on the other sprue. And we have an exhaust. Now this isn't actually flash that's along the edge of this. This is actually part of the moulding for the heat shields that are on the car. And we have another exhaust. Moving on to the wheels. These wheels are SSRs, which is Speedstar Racing from Japan. They are the GP0 wheels. They are a male fitment. And I'm thinking they are going to be 16 or 17 inch in diameter in real life. They are very nice wheels. They can be painted up quite nicely as well. You could even add an extra lip to that to get a really kind of deep dish look. And they would look quite nice on a kit. However, I very much doubt they'll be going on this one. Next up, we have the tyres. These are fairly low profile tyres, to be honest. Very nicely detailed, very well moulded. We do have a set of polycaps in there as well, which is good. You can never have enough polycaps. And last but not least, we have the body shell. So let's take this out here. I've never had this one out before. And there we have it. It's a very nicely moulded body. Nicely detailed. You can see where the mould occurred. We do have some mould lines. You've got some on the back bumper there. If I just bring that into focus, and also along the front there. Again, as always with Aoshima, they go up along the back of the car, over the roof, down the front A-pillar, and through the bonnet line. Other than that, it's a very nicely detailed car. Lots of potentials. I mean, there's so many of these that have been done up around the internet in real life and model form, and they can look absolutely fantastic. Such a beautiful car. And next up, we're going to take a look at these instructions. So we'll just put those there like that. Okay, so here we go. These instructions have never been opened, so I'm going to be very careful with them. They are slightly yellowing due to their age. So I'm going to start off with the first page. It's going to show you everything that comes with the kit. All the greyed out parts are the bits you do not need when building this kit. So hence we're using the S package seats instead of the originals. You've got the original steering wheel there. You've got the choice of the 2 S package ones there as well. And a few other bits, like I said, we're not using the exhaust or the fuel tank or the brakes and suspension off the black sprue. In fact, we're using the ones off the white sprue instead, which are just there. So that will actually give the car a slightly lower stance. The brakes are slightly bigger than the ones on that sprue. So again, once painted up, they will look more the part. So moving swiftly on to the first page. You'll see you've got the painting diagram there to show you what colours everything needs to be. We've got a two-piece suspension, which shows the suspension and the struts, the wishbones, everything going into place. And then obviously that gets fitted along with the brakes, the polycaps, if you're going with the female fitment, and the painting detail there. Once it's in, obviously you've got the steering arm, and that'll keep everything nice and level while you're doing the kit. The rear suspension again is quite simple, putting in the rear diff into place in the rear subframe, attaching the female fitment hubs, and getting the top part of the suspension in, and then that all gets attached to the chassis. Once the rear suspension is all put together, get it attached to the chassis using the suspension as it's shown here. Using these shocks instead of the original ones that come with the kit will give it a bit less ground clearance, giving it more of a ground hugging look to it. It's not massive amounts, but when you compare it to the original GTST kit, you can see the difference. We have the exhaust pipe, the anti-roll bar, and the twin exit exhaust, as we saw earlier in the kit. So let's go turn that over, just like that. Next we have fit the wheels to the tyres. They go on, very simple stuff. Obviously pre-paint your glass, get that fitted in. Got the headlight lenses going in there, and the windscreen wipers. It is a very standard kit to make, very, very easy. The proof of this pudding is going to be in the detail that you put into the kit, because it will make it pop. It is a curbside kit, there's no engine detail as you can see, but these kits do look fantastic when built. So there we go. If we remember earlier, I was questioning that bit there. That is the lower spoiler to the standard spoiler that comes on these cars. I never actually had one of these on any of mine. It was always a GTR type spoiler. Hence I was questioning it. And you've got the stereo and everything that goes into that little bit. It's a nice little extra detail. You could actually, out of putty or something, you could make yourself like a DVD screen or something to go in there instead. So it's nice that you've got that option. And you've got all the details here. Moving swiftly over to the interior, again painted up as much as you can. The proof of the pudding is in the detail again, and the interiors of these look fantastic. So if you can get some flocking going on the floor and on the things like that, then it will look really, really nice. Maybe get the painting done on the seats and then go over it with a satin clear would look spot on. So we've got the racing seats here. Everything else, although I'm disappointed that they're shipping it with an automatic gearbox. You don't buy a GTST with an automatic gearbox. Well, I personally wouldn't anyway. And coming up to the very end of the kit is the piece de resistance, is where you fit the body to the chassis, you put the body kit on, and then you end up with the final product. You've got the aerials here, which we don't really need in the UK because we don't have TV via analog signal anymore, so those wouldn't be used anyway. And then moving straight on, we have the finished article decaling, and then obviously once all the decals are on, you clear coat it and it will look spot on. So I really do hope you've enjoyed the review and unboxing of this Aoshima Nissan Skyline GTST S package, that is. It is a nice kit to build. There are a few of them out there on eBay and on Yahoo Auctions, and it is still quite an easy kit to find. However, the prices do go up and down like a yo-yo. I know that it's a nice kit to have in the collection. I have got other versions of the GTST that do not come with the S package. I will do a review on those at some point in the future, so you can see the differences between the kits. And yeah, and that's about it really. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Please take a look at all the other videos that I have on my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hopefully will see you very soon. Take care.